Hello everybody, it's Stuart here from Forex. Today we're going to be looking at fractals, fractal lows, fractal highs and trading with them, how they help you with making your trading decisions. How I found them quite useful as well with what I do. So welcome everybody. So usual wee bit of admin before we get going. Any issue with GoToWebinar, try restarting the software. Obviously if I mute my microphone, please let me know in the question box. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Magnus, can you, hopefully, yes, Magnus, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Any questions, anything I don't answer, just stick in an email to me at webinars@forex.com and me or the team will get back to you as quickly as possible. Usual admin before we get going. So this material is provided as a general marketing communication for information purposes and does not constitute independent investment research. Nothing in this communication contains or should be considered investment advice or an investment recommendation or indeed a solicitation for the purpose of buying or selling of any financial instrument. All information provided is gathered from reputable sources, and any information containing indication of past performance does not guarantee or reliably indicate future performance. Users acknowledge that any investment in FX and CFD product is characterized by a certain degree of uncertainty and that any investment of this nature involves a high level of risk, which the users are solely responsible and liable. We assume no liability for any loss arising from any investment made based on the information provided in this communication. This communication must not be reproduced or further distributed without our prior written permission. Okay, so very good. There's a couple of new names in here, but I recognise a lot of the names are in here today. Quite a busy session got today. So this is me. This is Stuart. I've been trading now for it's 20 years now. September 1997. Investing, buying shares initially, trading Forex, lastly trading lots of other things as well, commodities in particular. 4 things I would distill over those 20 years. It didn't take 20 years to realise this, but that's what I'm here for, to try and shorten your learning curve. If it's probable, do it. Okay, keep probability on your side. Understand, think in probabilities, think in percentages. Don't think in winning dollars. You know, thinking hanging on to the capital you've invested. Keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate things. You've got too many lines on your chart, or too many trend lines or indicators. It just comes, you know, you get analysis paralysis, as many people say. I think it's a unique phrase, but the analysis paralysis. You know, one indicator might be saying hold, one indicator might be saying sell, and the one might be saying, well, it's buy on this time frame. You know, it's all, you know, don't overcomplicate things. If you don't understand it, don't use it. Don't expect to know the nuances of every single news item that comes out. Understand the time frames that you're trading on. Trade around yourself. And the most important thing is that big one there. Know yourself, number 4. You've got to accept that you lose a lot in this business. And if you can't accept losing, go and do something else. You shouldn't be trading. And it's as simple as that, because you need to accept that and bring that to the front of your brain and then just deal with it. And that's what I'm here for. I can help you with all those things. So I've made all the mistakes under the sun over 20 years, and I still do it to this day. You know, I still jump in too early. I still react. Don't wait till my daily candles close sometimes. Much less than I used to. But we're human beings, and nobody's perfect, and that's what happens. Okay, but so long as you can keep your losses small, I know it's an old cliche, but keep the losses small, and honestly, the winning will just take care of itself. Think about dealing with losing, and when you do lose, keep it a very small percentage in your account, and you'll be amazed how quickly your account can grow when you get things right. But that's a story for a different day. Today we're going to be looking at a particular indicator called Fractals, invented by a guy called Bill Williams. Very simple, very close to, you know, pivot highs, pivot lows, and create that way. So what are they? How can they help? They're really good with trends and direction, but they're also really good channel trading as well. You can see them, and we looked at some of them yesterday as well. Breaks of fractals, good for stop loss placement as well. The natural turning points, they're natural psychological barriers. Sometimes fractals are really good. Obviously, they have some key benefits, but obviously they also have some limitations and drawbacks, just like any single indicator. Don't get obsessed with a particular indicator. Don't try and fiddle with it. Change these settings to make it think there's going to be a a perfect setting, that will, this will be the indicator fits all the indicators. That's why there's thousands and thousands of indicators, something hundreds and hundreds of indicators, because there isn't one that fits all. You've got to make it fit your trading approach, and that's why I always say the most important thing is to know yourself. Is it within an average job? No, it's not really. No, it's not. No. Don't bundle it together. But it is a good trend, but because it also works well in channels, and we'll come on to that in a minute. Okay, it's very much running an energy thing, and that's why I like it so much. If we've got time, because I think this webinar's quite a quick one, I'm happy to stay for the full hour if everybody's happy to stay. We can look at some live examples, because there's a really good example this morning on the pound cable. Got really overextended. It's had a really good run over the last week or so, and we'll have a look at some of them as well. I've got some more examples from this presentation. So obviously questions at any time. Hello Prince, thanks for spending time here today. So I've put it here, potentially more complicated technically. It isn't really. It's quite straightforward once you understand it. Lots of people get freaked out about it because it looks a bit complicated with the funny little arrows that it plots on your MT4 platform. But as with all indicators, it's important to understand where they come from. Okay, lots of people, and this is sort of something I'm feeling a bit more passionate about this as I get older, is they just take the indicator. Somebody's told me that moving average 27 was the best one to use, and they just use it blindly, or the zigzag pattern, or the harmonic scanner is the bee's knees, and it's the only one I need to use, and it works every time. All of that is nonsense. You need to understand what sits behind these things as well. Fractals is very much a maths-driven, maths and economics combination, which is always very interesting. I find interesting. It's formed from chaos theory, and quite aptly, it's a sort of a non-predictable event. Okay, so it's a bit like, and this is probably quite actually what's going on with the weather recently. It's all about the weather. Small changes at one point can have huge impacts at another end. So the hurricane season, for instance, we've just seen in the North Atlantic, is a very predictable event because it happens every year. Some of them are worse than others, and it's all to do with the swirling around, the pressure, the air pressure, the winds spinning around, the heating of the ocean, and that varies from year to year. But every season, this time, September to December, is the key hurricane season in the North Atlantic. This season, we just had a series of very big Category 5 hurricanes after one another. And anybody who's read anything by Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point, that's what that was all about. Small impacts at little ends, small impacts in one part of the system and have a huge disproportionate impact at the other event. And that's really what chaos theory is. But I'm not a mathematician. My good colleague Andrea is, and she could probably talk much more coherently about chaos theory. But anyway, and it was first picked up, it's 1975, so it's not that old, but it is quite old. It's 40 odd years old now. Malindrot, a mathematician and economist, saw these repeating patterns, and he saw this 60, 70% accuracy level with these repeating geometric patterns, and that's what he was the key player as far as trading was concerned. He sort of developed it and pushed it on. They're great, but you need to look at them on candle patterns, candle charts. So they work best with candle channels, and the other key thing is it's a 5 candle pattern, and that needs to complete before the fractal is plotted. Sometimes with some systems you'll see it plotting before the 5th candle is complete, or the 4th candle is complete even sometimes, and that's a fault with the software. So it's a 5 candle pattern. Very straightforward, and again, you could eyeball that yourself. But the beauty of these little arrows you get on the MT4 platform is it pops out for you, and you can create these natural turns or natural breaks in the time to trade as well. So, mathematical chaos theory, Malindrot's the man, 1975, so it's been around a while, and lots of people use them, but don't hang your hat just on one. So, the anatomy of trading with fractals. 2 types of fractals. To go back to basics. Up fractal, down fractal. So we get a little up arrow plotted, or a little down arrow plotted, a little arrowhead on our MT4 platform. Other trading software plots it differently. They have little dots. Others have I've seen little diamonds for fractals. Bill Williams himself came up with the diamonds as well. what I like about them is they work both in trending markets, whether the market's going up or going down, or whether we're going sideways. So whether we've got a channel, we're bouncing off support and resistance, and again, they're great for confirming or not confirming support and resistance. You see this very graphic plotting on your chart. And for me, it's these four words here. Fractals are all about exhaustion, I should say, in the trend, failure of a movement up, lack of energy, and rejection. So it can all be about getting to that high and then turning down, getting to that low and turning up. So exhaustion could be like we've ran out of going down, so we've actually got more energy to go back up in the other direction. So trends breaking, channels breaking or not breaking, and we're just going up and down. That final point there I've got on that chart, it's all about reversal points in the market, and they are key psychological resistance levels. That's the other key thing they plot, and that's why I like them, especially in the higher time frames. One of the criticisms of them is that they're not very good in the lower time frames. So if you've got a very volatile market, you could be switching from a trend to a channel or out of the channel, or pulse break of the channel. Quite often in the lower time frame. So the better, the higher the time frame, I found. But again, it's just how we interpret them as well. That's the other thing. That's with any technical indicator. So all about energy in the market, and that's what I really like. And my system I've developed is very much about turning points and exhaustion. That's what they fit with that quite well. So here we have an example of fractals how they're plotted on the MT4 platform. These little arrowheads on the MT4, there's little grey and white arrows. So here, fractal high, fractal high, fractal high, fractal low, fractal low, fractal low, fractal low, fractal high, fractal high. So you can see sort of form a channel with the trend as we're going up. So it's just reconfirming the trend. It's not a moving average, but it goes with it. Channel as well. Not really a channel down there. That's the high. That's the low. So we didn't follow the rules to create either a fractal high or fractal low as we move down. So that's not great for that. But that's the top. That's the low so far, isn't it? And then we've got a little channel there forming as we've broken up. So that's what it looks like on your chart on the MT4 platform. So up fractal candles, there's two candles to the right of it with lower highs, and at least two candles to the left of it with two further lower highs. So first example here, we're coming up, we've got an uptrend, uptrend, uptrend. Oh, we ran out of steam and we went down. So that high, the middle one, the third one, is higher than 1 and 2, and it's also higher than 4 and 5. So plot. Bing, when this candle completes. So again, that's one of its criticisms. It's a lagging indicator, like lots of lagging indicators. So we're still going up there, but that's our latest high point. Next one is there. So we've got a lower high to the left and 2 to the right. So this one completes, and that should plot. Inversely, we've also got a fractal low here, because actually I'll come on to fractal low as a separate chart, but you can see what I'm saying. Basically, we need it's a 5 candle pattern, and it monitors and it plots, waits for the 2 to either side of the midpoint, the pivot point, as we will call it sometimes, to be higher than the 1 and 2, 4 and 5. Okay, simple as that, and they've come quite clear. As you can see on here, you can see the trend, but the trend's already formed anyway, hasn't it? So by the time this one's formed, you might be thinking, well, are we going now? But we'll come to that in a minute. So the exact opposite is that is down a down fractal, or as it's called, down fractal. So a candle, 2 candles to the right with higher lows, and 2 candles to the left with higher lows. Okay, so here we've got the fractal low. The low on 1 was here, low on number 2 was here, low on number 3 was here, 4 was here, 5 was here, fractal low. Fractal low here because 4 and 5, the low was higher, 1 and 2, the lows were higher. Again, see, this is still plotted, even though that one is lower than the second one. It doesn't have to be sort of a pivot high. Quite often they are, or pivot low, so they don't have to be in sequence, but they tend to be most of the time, but not always. So again, here we've got a fractal low here. Again, it's not very clear because again we've gone south. That's why they're so good with channel trading as well, because here we've gone sort of sideways. This is 4-hour chart, so here we've gone sideways overnight, which is not untypical, but we haven't got below this low, and that's what this fractal low is pointing out. Because that one and that one were higher, that low and that low were higher than that low, so we've got our fractal low here, so this is our support level, even though it's just broken, it's also a broken moving average, so lots of information there for us. So fractal lows, fractal highs, simply a 5-candle pattern with the appropriate candles either side of the fractal low point or high point being following the rules. Okay, that's rule number 1. Okay, trading with fractals. Notice that when should we start to trade? I'm not quite sure what you mean. You mean after when the fractal low is plotted? I'll come on to that in a minute later. So okay, so just hold that question for a minute. Okay. So as with any indicator, always have patience and discipline. You know, wait till the candle's complete. Wait till the 5th candle is complete. Don't jump in assuming that things are going to happen. If you've got to use fractals as part of your trading regime. So on the MT4 platform, actually let me just ask that, who actually uses fractals on their charts, or is the word fractal completely new to you? Sorry, I forgot that before I got going. David says yes. Ahmed, I'll come to your question in a minute if you don't mind. So who actually uses it? I use them. Okay. Again, that's the point I was saying before. Don't use something just because I use it or just because you've heard it's quite a good indicator. Try and dig a little bit into the background of it, understand the mathematics of it or the economics of it, why why it works, why the pros and cons of it. Yes, no, yes, completely new, no, first time, planning to use them in the future, good, okay, use it before but not now, okay, has used them and rejected them, I would guess, or found something better or more appropriate. Is that correct, Magnus? Or just don't fit your style? Yes. Thanks, too many questions all at once, isn't it? Ahmed's asked here, what does it mean having on one candle fractal high and a low at the same time? You can't do that, Ahmed. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. That wouldn't work. Okay, you can't have a fractal high and fractal low at the same time. So let me just check, those of you that don't use it, let me just bring in the MT4 platform quickly. Here, so this is the Dow or the US 500. So to insert fractals, they're not on this chart. Does everybody see that still? Sorry, yeah. So hopefully everybody can see that. So to insert fractals, we go to Insert Indicators. So I did that. Insert Indicators. Bill Williams. I'll come to Bill Williams in a minute, and that's where they are under fractals. Bill Williams is a big component. These are part of his trading platform, Fractals. And the standard setting, well, they come on grey on the default on MT4, but the standard setting is 2. Give me that option there. Okay. Why does it always do this when I'm trading live? It was a bit funny on the MT4 platform. So here you can see, hopefully you can see, can everybody see those little grey arrowheads? So fractal highs, fractal lows. So there you go. That's the latest fractal high for the Dow back in August. That was a new record high. Obviously, it's plotted that high close to it. They were either side, and the one bit held we've broken that one off over there. So there we go. David, I've also seen fractal high and low on the same candle and didn't understand the relevance. Well, I don't know, to be honest, completely honest, David, so you obviously know better than I do. Are you sure it was fractals? How would you possibly, it's obviously, again, if you did have that, think about what I've just said about what fractal lows and fractal highs are. Sorry David, I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying I haven't, but I'm sure I've probably just missed it. Think about what that's telling you. If you've got, depending on the time frame, it could be possible on certain time frames, but that's telling you that the market perhaps can't decide whether to go up or down. So it's a bit like a doji candle, a bit like this sort of candle here, where it's not sure whether it's going up or down, but it's in balance, like this one, doji candle, so this one here, where we're in balance. We don't know, are we going to go up or are we going to go down? Well, we don't know. We started there, we finished there, we didn't move very much. We got as high as that, we got as low as that, but we're in balance. And if you get if you get fractals sort of plotting on the same candle, that would suggest the same thing. So that's indifference. So if it's not clear what the direction is, don't do anything. Or, you know, if the market's going sideways, that suggests a channel forming. You know, going sideways. I mean, it was sort of here, but the trend was still up. But anyway, let me not dwell on that now. Let's go through the details. Yeah, news spikes, absolutely. On the short time frames, then you might be right. There might be some crazy news that causes this great big volatility. So you might get, but again, it doesn't fit the rules. On fractals there. Sorry, it's distracted me again. So there you go, that's how to plot them. Those of you who don't, did everybody get that? Those of you who don't use it, it's very straightforward. Indicators, Bill Williams, fractals, and plot them on. Leave them at the standard setting. You know, there's no point fiddling with them because the rules are the rules. Again, you know, some software packages might have got them wrong, which is why I'm getting double fractals. But it'd be interesting to see that. I'll look for that actually. I'll go and search out David and Ahmed. Sorry, so I've seen something there. I missed it on the little scene. Okay, so good for, like I said, market direction, and a broken fractal is sometimes a good example. So here, let's have a look. Let's go through this. So here we've got fractal high, fractal low. So we've got a nice little channel here. We'll come to channels in a minute. Good for drawing trend lines sometimes. But this is what I just want to bring your attention to. This area here. So what we've had here, we've sort of been going up. We're over the, I would have, I'm at the moving average. Let's pretend the moving average is out on here. So we've got a fractal high. The next fractal high is higher, and then this candle here broke higher, closed above, obviously that wick there, but also above the top of the wick, on top of the fractal high. Okay. So that, in many instances, is suggesting a breakout. And those of you that were in the webinar yesterday, I know there's a few on some of those charts that we were looking at yesterday. I think some of the New Zealand charts had a clear break of the fractal high. So that's quite often a good indicator of buying opportunity. So here, the US dollar here on this back in February, on this 4-hour chart, broke above, closed above this fractal high. It's not a great, clear, strong break, but it certainly closed above it. Again on the 4-hour chart, big strong candle, that's helps us. We're above the 20-day movement, 20-period movement, and also helps the middle movement average there we're above. So all positive. Paradox are still positive. So that, for many traders who trade with fractals, would have been their entry point late in the evening. Broke the fractal, and then off we go, and a target could be formed. And the next target could have been, and as you can't really see that, I'll bring it up live again. It sort of stopped at the previous fractal high, didn't it? A wee bit. But the next stop, on this chart, I haven't actually got to it, but that could have been a good way of setting targets again. They use setting targets, perhaps more so for setting stop loss than targets, but we'll see, we'll come on to that again a bit more. Okay? And quite often, when we've got these fractals moving up here, the fractal low can often be your stop loss position. Again, I'll come on to that in a minute. So a broken fractal, quite good for identifying a break in a trend or a new market direction or a continued market direction like we've got here. But taking it in isolation on its own, it's not great. But with all these other indicators that were going on at the time, it's quite positive. Because RSI was quite high, as we see. MACD here was breaking over the zero line, wasn't it? Here, I think on this one, yeah. So all positive for this break here, this entry here at 105.52, and on the low it went off. Well, printed this is over 96, so very positive view. So fractals mainly be used to detect breakouts. That's one way of using them only, not the only way. I'm going to come on to a few more in a minute. Okay, so a break of a break of high, and like you see here, so it's added to the continuation. So this one broke a wee bit higher than that one, didn't it? So that's interesting, but it's retraced a bit, but it didn't retrace. See how the retrace didn't go as low as the previous fractal high. So we're up, we've retraced to there. So stop loss would have kept us in. And then we've broken up above it again, so that again would have been people buying there. See how it's broken that one there when it closed, dipped a bit, put in a new fractal low, then went off again. So that's continuing the trend. And again with the Bollinger Band, sorry, this blue moving average, whatever it is, was lower than the 20 would have kept you in the right side. Parabolic stars would have kept you in. So parabolic stars flipped there, so but the others were still positive. So that's one way. A break for fractal high or low, always quite good. No, there's only you, Army. There's only one Army. Right, good for identifying market direction. Just is that one twice? How about two? All right, sorry. So yes, so this one here. So to break lower on this chart, we need to break below the last down fractal 109. So that's what I was saying before. So sometimes, again, I'll explain this more a bit better. So the fractal low at this point would be our stop loss. So we got in here. Our stop loss would be if we're using fractals as our trading platform. We would use this as our stop loss, and obviously because we're in a trend, that's worked out quite nicely. Okay, so the fractal low would be our stop loss, and reverse, if we were going short, the latest fractal high would be our stop loss position. But I'll come to that in a minute as well. So broken fractals, ones to watch, and we'll have a look at those as well. Also, the other thing that people use fractals for, I tend not to be honest. I don't use many channel lines, perhaps I should more. On channels, is that they not create, but they help in drawing trend lines, and they help in confirming a channel. So imagine this chart with nothing on it. The fractals still gives a nice channel here. Don't quite example, is it? So you would have drawn your trend line sort of here, your trend line here, and that was without them moving averages, but we're in a nice trend there, so that would have kept us in the right side. So we're still going up, still going up. This one's broken. We still might be long until we got stopped out. This perhaps if your fractal low was you're already there's one there, so that would have this big down candle would have taken us out of this big up trend. Here, so we got in here, would have been alright. We got in here, it's over. It's out the volume plans and also we might have been buying a bit, but so it's great for creating little channels as well, little trend lines. Helps you with where to draw. And some people, when they're drawing trend lines, have some issue with either drawing them. As long as you're consistent, it doesn't matter. So you draw them at the bottom of the body or the bottom of the wicks. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. The wicks can throw you out a little bit or keep you in the trend. And again, use the tips of the fractals sometimes for drawing your trends. Okay, that's another way to draw trends and channels. Also, another great trending tool. When I use breaks in fractal high lows, I use the next 5 candles after the fractal. What do you use? Is 5 a good number to detect the breakup? I have the fractal figure on my screen. It depends, David. I tend not to do the candle count. Remember, candles, if you trade candlesticks, they tend to be more effective, like you say, in the next 3 to 5 candles. So yes, that's fine. That's fair enough. You may be 5, maybe overstretching it, depending on your time frames. So 5 days is very different to the next 5 15-minute time frames, or 5-hour time frames. But yeah, 3 to 5, I would say definitely yes. But look back, look to the left to see what might be happening to the right of the chart. Because obviously, whenever we're trading, what we're really interested in is this bit on the chart, isn't it? This white bit here. What's going to happen next, not what's happened before. Don't get too caught up in what's happened before. Trend lines, resistance lines, and support lines. They're only good until they're broken. All support and resistance breaks down eventually. They don't last forever. Okay, so just nothing is 100% in this business. As long as you don't get too fixed on things, you'll be good to go. It depends on news and economics. We can't say how many candles. It depends. It depends on your approach only. You're absolutely right. If you're trading intraday, a lot of this could be nothing. If suddenly, like last week, we had the Bank of Canada suddenly surprising the market by announcing an increase in interest rates. That is the most important fundamental piece of data that comes out, the interest rate decisions from the central banks. So that blows everything out on the screen. The pure technicians will say, well, it's all in the candles, it's all in the price action. Yes, it is eventually, but if you're sat there trying to work out a trend, and then all of a sudden gets blown out of the water because of the move in the CAD interest rate. We're down to a different paradigm, and you can see that on the dollar CAD chart in particular. It's just exaggerated that move down, and all the other factors as well, because we're now in a different paradigm because the central bank are now up their interest rates. So CAD is much stronger than it was this time last week. So yes, David Owen was correct. So trends, channels, and breaks, there are three key things. Also, as I've just touched on, they're quite good for placing stop loss, so it helps with stop loss placement. You know, my view of stop loss, it tends to be the turn in the market. So again, that can be also plotted by the fractal, because that's exactly what the fractal is, isn't it? Fractal low is that turning point where we've got two candles higher either side, and that's the low point. So that is the turn point. So it's a good point. So just like I've shown you before, this stop loss position here, this blue line here, 10009, would have been our stop loss. We traded on the break of this one here, our entry at 10052, and our target could have perhaps been the next fractal high there, and fractals, purely trading, which is similar, purely trading on fractals. Our next resistance would have been up here, the tops of these candles, and perhaps over those wicks, and that energy has got us past that, hasn't it, on this one? So stop loss placement placed at the tip of the most recent fractal. For up fractals for short positions and down fractals for long positions. So here, in stop loss, target up here somewhere. Okay, quite simple, quite straightforward. Can I get rid of it? Of course, Baylor. It'll be. This is being recorded. How many minutes in already? Probably on for 30 minutes already. So yes, this will be sent to you, Faber, if you can't stay. They're very good. They show breakouts and the turning trend, getting to practice with. Absolutely, I like them. But don't make them the be-all and end-all of your trading. Use them to build your indicator, and I'll come on to that in a minute. That's with any indicator, okay? So, positives with fractals. They're good for the longer term. So I do use them on shorter term time frames, but I tend not to trade below the 1 hour time frame. That's probably the minimum time frame they're useful for. Okay? So because of the volatility you get within, well, I see people, I know many people that trade with them on the 5 minute time frame. Some very successful traders do that actually, but this is just my view. I tend to stick to them on the 1 hour time frame. They're great for indicating these resistance, though, these turnovers, support and resistance. So sometimes, if you've got a channel form, and we'll come on to that in a minute, you can see fractal highs and fractal lows creating these support and resistance levels, and that will back up perhaps if you had a Fibonacci level there as well, or a key psychological round number. They all sort of start to coalesce around these key support and resistance levels. So the break, like we've just seen on that dollar Swissy chart, can either indicate a new trend or we're going back, the trend is continuing, because obviously nothing goes in a straight line all the time. That's another thing that many traders, whether they're new or lost audio, somebody's saying, yes, sorry, lost audio, back on, that's me again. Thank you, Isaac. On my headset, there's a volume up, volume down, and a mute button, and it's sort of by my left elbow. So every now and again, I've got to keep watching it, and I keep putting my elbow on it. I'll try to attach it to my shirt, so I can't do that, but I'll knock it off. So occasionally, that's what happens. Sorry. What was I saying? Yes. So a break, like we've just seen on that dollar Swiss chart. The fractal can give you a new trend to start or the trend continuing. Many people, whether they're new traders or experienced traders, fall into the trap of just expecting to get into a position and then expecting to go in their direction. And any of you that have followed me for any length of time know that a lot of my certain day trades can be out of the money for a number of days before they turn around and go to the market or then run off down the stop loss very quickly. So it's all about being able to identify these new trends or continuation of the trend where something goes against you and then goes back into the trend. They're great for trends and channels, as we've just seen. So stuff that's going sideways can also be good with fractals, lows and highs, and also for placing stop loss. Their limitation, like many indicators, is that they are lagging. It takes 5 candles So if you're trading the 5-minute time frame, that's 25 minutes, and as a 5-minute candle trader, that can be an awful long time. As a day trader, it's 5 days before they complete. So many indicators, and I'll put 95% here because they're lagging indicators. So that's it takes a while for them to form. So the trend may have gone already petered out or not turned around. So many new trades in particular find them quite confusing because they just clutter up the chart. This third point is just my own personal view. I don't find it reliable for scalpers, but I'm not a scalper myself. I don't trade scalping. I understand it. I understand what setup you need. But as I said before, I know many people. I know two traders in particular who use them on are happy to use them on 5-minute charts. So, but my own view, I don't find it reliable enough for scalpers. And a bit too, the volatility of this short time frames. Too much for waiting for what. And as somebody said, I think Zogmid said, fundamentals and news, like I say, example last week of the Bank of Canada, can have a massive impact on just throw them out of the market. But that's like with any indicator. So that's why good traders tend to keep an eye on the news and understand the high impact events and either trade accordingly. Or get out and get back in if the news has either confirmed their trend or their direction or not. Obviously, that's a caveat with any indicator. Watch the fundamentals and watch the news. That final point there, as with anything, don't use them alone. Don't hang your hat on one particular indicator. Get the ones that work for you. I like them, doesn't mean that you would like them or will work for you, but they sort of work for me most of the time. Okay, so we're 40 minutes in. So if you're happy to stay for the hour, I'm happy to talk for another 20 minutes, and we'll bring up some live charts and we'll see them how we use them and plot them on our daily time frames in particular. So, any further questions before we bring up some live charts? I think the live charts to have a look at only, but I will have a look at the yen because I went long yen this morning. But anyway. Let me just bring up the one I wanted to talk to you about in particular, the cable this morning. If you've been following the news recently, or you have, it's always happens, isn't it? It's stopped. Hello? Come on, Mr. MT4. See, this is... Oh, come on. Prince, I'll see you in Johannesburg as well. Very good. Come on. I'm trying to demonstrate things live. Right, okay, let's try and close this. Default. That's what I found is. My new terminals is very slow, isn't it? I'll bring the yen up in a minute, Ollie. So, okay, so this is a good example. Hopefully you can see this. This is the cable. Last 10 days had a really good run. 2 or 3 lines on here. The 130 is the big psychological number, and 130.31 or 130.30 was a second target I've had for a while. It's a key pivot point. And as you can see, whenever this was, where are we? So this is Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So last Tuesday we bashed right up to 130.30. And look where it stopped. It stopped at a fractal high here. So that break, and that's a good example of that breaking those 2 fractal highs in fact. So we're there and off we've run. And look where it stopped today. We've had a good run 3 or 4 days, and it stopped at this key level here. We piled up into it 132.80 wasn't it? Yes, no, look at that. I'm not making that up. I just noticed that this morning. And you notice these things all the time when you trade. So the yesterday's close was the next fractal high. See, there's no fractals here because we're in a strong trend that's gone on. Okay. The other things that are helping us take this long. We were, the 20 period moving averages down here. We moved up quite aggressively. The parabolic stars are still very positive and supporting all the way up here. Big strong candle up, another big strong candle, another big strong yesterday, big strong candle up on the inflation date beat. Okay, but it's looking a bit overstretched, and that's exactly what happened this morning. The up here was just a bit too heavy. So in a couple of days' time, I'm not going to put money on it, but I'm pretty sure this will be our fractal high if the Bank of England doesn't surprise us tomorrow. Okay, so oh wait, I'll come to yellow in a minute. I'll come to your house for a minute. Okay, I'm going to be a long hand still. No, I'm not. I haven't got a trade on this. I'm just saying this was these lines here were a previous trade, but I noticed this here because this level, this 130.30, had been a level I talked about way back in the election day and before the UK election. So I haven't got a trade on this position. No, I'm on pound carrot and things up this morning, but no, I haven't got a trade on this one. But I may be wrong, but my hunch is that this will be our fractal high for this week on the cable. It's had such a good run. We've been up from from here really, haven't we? This floor. So we've had a 2-week good run, dollars week, and dollar may come back a bit. Okay. You are in strong resistance in the weekly charts. On this cable, yes, we are. If we look at the weekly, we are in a strong resistance area, and it's a big psychological number as well. Again, on the weekly chart, we stalled at this fractal high there as well. So a high time frame to say we've got a bit heavy. We're at June 2016 when we just had the Brexit vote, as I said this morning in the video. We're at a year and a bit highs here at 132.80. All seemed a bit too toppy, and the other indicators were suggesting that RSI 14 was at 71, 7 was at 75. I think we even saw lots of overbought signals. So the weak earnings number helped pull down the pound, but it hasn't perhaps fallen as much as before. So that's how to trade fractals really, ladies and gentlemen. It's quite straightforward. Let me have a look. What I have here, I'm not going to go on the hour today, so always ask me to have a look at the yen. Here, I actually took a long position on this yesterday. So we're long here over 110. But again, our fractals here are telling us we're in a nice down channel. So we're going down. Our Bollinger Bands are telling us we're still going down, but yesterday we broke over the Bollinger Band. Where we're going to stop, no fractals to help us, but we broke a fractal low. Our stalling would be, or we did stall it at 110 with psychological number. The next target would be our fractal here, 110.70. And again, if you've been performing us for any length of time, we talked about 110.80 and 111.80 is some key pivot points as well, and then 11 is another key point. So that fractal corresponds with what we were talking about. Okay? I think it was some of the New Zealand crosses on the yesterday where we had these breaking of the fractals. Try to demonstrate what pound New Zealand. I think it was that one yesterday, wasn't it? Was it pound New Zealand from yesterday? Yes, here we are. This let's zoom in a bit. This is one talked about. I should zoom out. So again, thank you, Kevin. So here, again, we talked about it yesterday. That's why there's big blue lines on here. Those of you that were here yesterday, we had let's just take this up. We had a clustering of the fractal highs around here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in this sort of zone here. Once this broke it that day, that would be your heads up. Obviously, there was still one more to go here, and that was the clear, significant buying as a new fractal high because it closed that day, the 31st of August, last day of the month. It was the last day of the week as well. Above that previous fractal high, also above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 previous fractal highs. So that was shouting breakout from this channel that we've had for June and July. And September has been very good to the pound New Zealand month. It's gone. Obviously, got in here, retraced a bit, but look, if we got in again using the fractal logic, our stop loss, our last fractal low was all the way down here. But would we've got that low? Probably not. We might have used the moving average. Our next fractal low was here. It's still a bit low, isn't it? But fairly confident that breakout was going to be complete once we completed that, and then the confirmation was this dip down here. We held 179. Put in a new fractal though, and that's got off. That's got lots of buyers in that one there, as it's coincided with these fractal highs. So what was resistance now becomes support. And again, you see this all the time. Thank you for often said for pointing that out. I remember we looked at this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? Now, and once again yesterday. So again, fractal highs and lows are just confirming what the other indicators are suggesting to us as well. But graphically, that's actually not lines of them. But graphically, this cluster of arrowheads here is very clear, isn't it? Oh, it is to me. I hope it is to you as well. Perhaps without the fractals, you can still see, the highs sort of here, isn't it? We've perhaps got in. Actually, let's take that off. Get this. Take fractals off. Delete. So without the fractals, let's take that line out as well. Take the blue line out. So. Which one's that line? Go through more. But eyeballing this simply without the fractals on there, you still get a very similar manual idea. Your highs are here, highs are here, highs are here. That's the finishing day. We couldn't get above 78.35, and that's probably explains why that candle there is such a big wowzer about what's going on, and then the next day would have been the big one. So many people trade without fractals broke that high there, and that's given the energy here on that last day of August to get in here. The fractal high traders might have waited the next day for that break to be confirmed. Anyway, I hope you get what I'm trying to say, and my live chart is not playing ball, but you see what I'm saying. Now that many people have got in there, many more people have got in there, and then that break of that high suddenly became our support level, our resistance. We tried it once, twice, even 3 times. Might have took some people out there, but we're still off and running. And now 82.3 looks like a new confirmation of this trend that started down here. Getting here and takes all the way out there. Very, very straightforward trade now, although it's obviously suggesting being a wee bit overbought now. So that's a good example of the fractals, okay? Audio's gone off again, sorry, elbow, yes, elbow, thank you, sorry, volume down. Good, okay, well done. Yes, that's training with fractals, ladies and gentlemen. What time is it? 10 minutes. Anybody want me to have a look at another cross, either with or without fractals? Let's say is there some live channel? Oh, yen. So yes, that's for yen. It was yen forwards. Gold. Gold. You put gold in. I'm short gold. I'm getting toes in a bit. So what we're saying, yes. So over 110 with yen. Next fractal. I haven't talked about it. Next target might be 1070. So I haven't talked about that. Forget what I'm doing now. Gold. Come on. That was interesting yesterday, wasn't it? Gold. There we go. Let's go to the time frame. So, actually, let's take some of these things off. So as those of you who know, I'm short this particular position, and it's first at the moment. We got in here at 13.26 to get to 13.21, and we're at 13.32, so we're significantly out of the money on this one, but that's trading for you, isn't it? So how did the fractals help me? Well, the break of that fractal high now, because it gapped up here, so gaps tend to get filled, so we came back to it, and I was looking for it to go further down here, and in the short term, in about the 4 hour and the daily here, back to the bottom of the Bollinger Band. So it wasn't really a fractal trade, but what the fractals helped me with was this high, which I, plotted yesterday, fractal high, so that's our resistance up here. This is actually on the daily, so it's 4 hours. So we're going here on the break of the confirmation of the break of the 20 period, and then the break of the 50 period. That's my short. I want to get there. I'm not very close to it, but turned around and comfortable factor here is probably another fractal high, so that's hopefully we might run off and this resistance here holds. But unfortunately for me, the 130 seems to have held, the 1330 seems to have held quite strongly there, and this is going against me. So if this breaks the 20 period and this 50 period conversion, you can't confluence here on the 135 level. I may be stopping that out before we get stopped out at 141, that's going against me, that might be the next. This is at 1338, but we'll see. So this is a 4 hour and daily trade. But our fractal lows here, sorry, that was my target, because I was short this one. So this might be, my stop loss is the daily one. Okay, so it's a bit of a mess, but that again, you know, can't get them all right. Sometimes they win, sometimes they don't. Keep the stop loss small, and there you go. Is pound can get back down again? I don't know. What does MA say? Not quite with you there, John. What do you mean? What does the moving average 50 say? Well, the moving average 50, the yellow line here, just happens to be on the daily. So this is still obviously in a strong uptrend. We've got the 20, the 50, and the 200 nicely aligned there. So a strong uptrend. So I was looking for a wee bit of a pullback. So it was against the long-term trend. So the target wasn't too far away. Target 2 would probably a wee bit average given this, these volatilities. Although the dollar's strengthened the last couple of days, it's sort of petered out today. That's why gold's trickled back up again. So we'll see what we do. I'm not sure what you mean by John when you said 50 MA, what's it say? Okay. Can you take it back a quick for this one? What's it saying? Well, it's support. It's, you know, that the 50 period moving average basically needs to be the longer time frame, so it tends to be further away from the price action. And when they're nicely aligned like this, where it's below the 200, the 50, and the 20, they're moving in the same direction, that suggests a nice steady trend, which is what we've got here. You can see we've got I use on the daily, on the daily time frames, I use the simple moving averages, and on the intraday, more 1 hour and 4 hour charts, they tend to be exponential moving averages. The difference is negligible, to be honest. So yeah, you can use one or the other; it doesn't really matter. The exponential tends to be weights the average closer. It gives more prominent importance to the last few bars. Whereas the simple moving average just divides the time, so it's 20, it divides the 20 periods, gives each of the 20 periods the same weighting. The exponential weights the last few more than the first 17 or so, whatever it is. Okay, well, that makes sense. But, you know, decide I want to stick to it. But I say on my daily chart, I use the simple. On the intraday, the 4 hour and 1 hour, and anything lower than that, I use the exponential, so a bit more sensitive in that sense. Okay. Somebody asked about the Apple. Quick look at the Apple, says Magnus. Let's look at Apple. Apple's a great one. Strong. This is obviously the chart I was using. This is the daily, so it's a line chart. You want to go on here, Magnus, but it's, you know, look at it's in a strong uptrend Apple. This is the 50 period moving average, green line. It's a different chart, so just a line chart. But you know, a year ago it was down here at 107. So down here, it's a year ago, wasn't it? June, almost the daily. So we look the same. So this time last year when they launched the iPhone 7 on the 16th of September, we were trading at 107, 110. So a very, very strong Apple. Obviously dipped a bit yesterday, but it's still at 160, still at record highs that it reached in August. World's biggest company. very, very strong. Multiple earnings of 17, 18 months. And it wasn't perhaps the blockbuster augmented technology I was expecting, but it's still a very, very powerful device. Expensive, but there's a big burgeoning market that we want this in the States. And China is a market they cracked a couple of years ago. Lots more Chinese competition now from homegrown telecoms providers and smartphone makers, but Apple's still a very key stock for world markets, especially US markets. They do indeed, Magnus. It's but they always, buy Apple shares, buy them in the summertime. They were down here at it's 90 and 93, triple bottom, not that long ago. Disappointed with the 6S and 7 to the extent. The first watch was a disappointment, but 76% rate rise from 76% of the share prices as well, risen from last summer. Here we are, June, July 2016. Here we are, 165. So 180 is not out, or $200 by the end of the year is not out of question at all for Apple. Expect to have a very strong fourth quarter and running through as well, given that all these other things are going on. But anyway, that's Apple shares for us. So there we go. That was Fractals. I hope that was of some use. Our time is up today. Thank you for your time. Any final questions about Fractals or anything else for that matter, whether it's Apple or anything else that's coming up? Obviously, tomorrow is important. We've got the Bank of England and their rate decision, so what's the pound? Got to go over. And yes, we're coming back to South Africa. So Tuesday, the 10th of October in Johannesburg, live seminar. I've got two presentations. Please come and see us, meet us, join us. We'd love to see you. Durban on the following Tuesday, and Cape Town Thursday, the 19th of October. So if you're in South Africa or can get to South Africa, we'd love to meet you. Okay, so put that date in your diary, click on the link, and you can register for that as well. So hope to get you. Please download this video on my mail so that I enjoy it due to network issues. Yeah, okay, we'll get a recording, Cabaru. We'll get a link to the YouTube channel. Check out the YouTube channel all the time. They're quite often there. There was one from last Thursday as well. It was a really good webinar. The audio wasn't great, but check out our YouTube channel. It's on there as well. Thank you for your kind words, Prince. Tomorrow, emotional control in Forex. We talk about that all the time, Jay. We talk about that tomorrow. Live analysis next Tuesday. Next Wednesday, Andrew's going to be looking through a lot of the new assets that we've brought on. Some futures, some spots, some indexes, some stocks available. Support and resistance. 27th, I'm going to be talking about target stops and trade size, putting it all together. These are absolutely vital. Target stops and trade size important. Kevin, yes, sorry. So very, very important. And then auto charts, great little tools. We've got, if you haven't got it, download it. It's a great little tool. Great for volatility, great for setting stop losses as well, especially on intraday stuff. So Ilan will be talking about that, the man behind auto charts, the CEO and co-founder. Our app has just been upgraded, so download that. My book list, Jesse Livermore's story, Breakouts, Stock Operator, Mark Douglas, Trading the Zone, 2 vital books you all should have. If you're new to trading, Anna Coolan's Forex for Beginners is a great book, and there's lots of other books as well about trading. But it's all about you trading and being successful. So email me at webinars@forex.com and I'll get back to you. All our analysis, the stuff we write is put on the analysis page at analysis.forex.com. And comments also on my Facebook page, Stuart Forex Cowell. This is the link on forex.analysis on Facebook. So friend me, I'm here to help, okay? Because if you're successful, we're successful. Thank you for your time today. Look forward to seeing you all in next week, and some of you face to face in South Africa next month. Okay. Thanks for your time. Any final questions for a comment today? Silence. No, good. Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye bye.